Okay, it's Ronnie. I got the transom out all figured out and why stuff wasn't working. I'm working with 3,000 to 5,000 clearances with bronze bushings, oil, ice, everything. I got to get a little bit longer bolts for right here. I couldn't put washers on. I'll pick them up, stainless steel. But it was binding. Now, this is a grade 8, okay? See this? Never go overboard thinking your stuff's out of alignment if you're pretty sure you have it right. Like this bushing has to be in line with this one, directly and proportionally correct to the angle of dangle for the motion of the ocean to work, slide straight in and out, right? Well, guess what? After honing and making my own deal to hone these just some, because if you put the bolt in like this, watch, in one bushing, it'll do that. You see that? That's 5 to 6 thou, okay? If you go from the bottom in the outer bushing, go in the center of the bolt, you see that movement there? I can't see the sun's in my... See that movement of that bolt back and forth? That's 5 to 6 thou clearance. That's what it's supposed to be, okay? But guess what? You go to drop it through and line it up correct, and it would stop right there. It would stop right here where I'm at. It would stop. It would not go through. If you tapped it, it would drive the bushing out. So right away you'd think, oh, my bushings are out of alignment. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I only spent about 10 minutes thinking about that, and then I started looking. And I'm going to show you a neat trick. I don't even have to. This is a zinc-coated grade 8 bolt. Y'all mechanics and everybody, if you're working tight, you probably don't know this, okay? A grade 8 bolt or a grade 5 bolt, that head that's up here, see, I cut the head off of this one. That's a grade 5. I still got to get a longer bolt. I had to order them for 26 bucks because I don't want any threads banging down here. See where that bushing is in the bottom there? I don't want any threads against that. I want smooth surface, okay? But yeah, here's a kicker. You see there's a little, show you a trick. See right there, there's black magic marker, permanent marker. That's where I found it. Because this is a black oxide bolt, 3/4. I didn't paint it. Look, see where it's got a rub spot right below? I cut the head off of it. See where that's rubbed through? Guess what? You can find what's binding. You go to drop it through. Use the black marker like I did on here. Which remnants? Oh, my boat trailer rolled forward but not backwards into my garage. I got it blocked. See that black? That's black permanent marker. It stayed there while it's all buffed off. Why? I said it'd go through to here. It'd go through just like that. And then it'd get right there and hang up. And just couldn't turn it, couldn't do nothing. It'd go all the way through like this. I hope you can see. It wouldn't turn. And yeah, well, what? I thought, well, how can it really can't be out of line when I pressed it together using this bolt. Well, then I took black permanent marker and painted the whole side of the bolt. Oh, I got to wipe my eyes. Hang on. It's like 120 out here in front of the garage. Right now it's 98 yet. Okay, so I used permanent marker. Okay, that's why if something's hanging up, you think it's bushings or a bearing is sticking or something that won't slide on. How to find it? Take a black permanent marker or any color permanent marker you got and put it all over the bolt. And then try to push on the bushing or drop it through the bushing or push on the bearing. You'll see where it's hanging up. And then you take your caliper out if you got a good one. Otherwise, you use micrometers when you're doing engine work. But this ain't engine work. But yeah, guess what? See how the zinc plating is gone now? And this has all been buffed down with a freaking die grinder. Yeah, you know why? The way these bolts are made, both of them. And looky here, here's a grade 5 that I didn't paint. Look, the head of the bolt would be just like that. Mine up just like, but I cut the head of the bolt off because this one is too short, so the one I'm going to use, the head's going to be cut off and welded into another trunk. But you get my drift. See that wear mark? This is black oxide coated. I did not freaking touch anything. All I did was tap it in and it got tight and drove it back out. And it would not fall through that hole. It would not, if it's directly straight, which I know my quality of work within 3 to 5 thousandths is correct. Guess what? The same place, right here. And on that bolt is the same length, minus the head, but right in the same spot where you can still see where it rubbed off that black oxide coating. Guess what? It's not to tolerances. People don't know this. A 3/4 inch bolt, any bolt is undersized between 3 to 5 thousandths. The drill bit size is correct, okay? These are 3/4 inch. The washers don't mean squat, right? They're always way off. But if this was a true 3/4 inch bolt, exactamundo, from here to here, 3/4 inches across, and a drill bit is exactly what they state, 3/4 inches, there's no way this bolt would go into a 3/4 inch hole, right? They're both the same size. Something's got to be smaller. Well, bolts are 3 to 5 thousandths smaller on the main part, on the main shaft, any bolt. You can check them, 3 to 5 thousandths smaller than the size. If it's a 3/4, if it's a half, it's going to be 3 thousandths under, because a 1/2 inch will not fit in a 1/2 inch. Guess what? My 3/4 with the thousandths, I had 3 thousandths clearance in these bushings, which I've checked, and I had them correct. Well, and they match. Like I said, they wiggle wobble like this. You can go halfway in. Look, I got play, I got play, I got play, I got play right there. See? Go to here, go through it. I had play like this, but then bang, it's stuck. I finally figured it out. Quality control is crap. Yeah, I'm gonna explain real fast. Yeah, it's supposed to, I got sweat running my eyes so bad. To form these, any bolt, the bolt is heated first. It's a chunk of rod, and then it's heated and clamped by a computer clamp, and this is still a rod like this, okay? And then it gets clamped in this giant hydraulic freaking machine that inductively heats it with electricity around each head so fast it turns, that shaft turns red hot, and then it gets stamped and squished and formed. It gets pushed down to make that head, okay? You get my drift? Well, guess what? While it's still hot and that clamps where it holds it, it makes a freaking ridge, 5 thousandths average, but it's smooth, it's a rounded edge, 5 thousandths average, wider than the bolt, which means it's actually wider than even the 3/4 inch hole by 2 thou. Ooh, I got split running down. You get, follow me there, snowflakes? So I found with the permanent marker like this, I didn't twist it. You can see around the black oxide where it was rubbing. It expanded the bolt well over the 3 thousandths supposed to be clearance, probably 5 or 6. So I had to hand file and then smooth out this whole grade 8, which, wow, that's some hard stuff. Whew. But yeah, I used a buffing wheel too. But I got the clearance now, watch. Yeah, there's a clamp that goes right where my hand's at, and well, yeah, the bolt's actually that long in the chunk, and then they stamp and heat, inductively heat each one. Go on YouTube or somewhere how it's made and watch how they make bolts. They will heat induct it with electricity around it in like 10 seconds. The new stuff's probably 105. And then it gets stamped and pressed to make that whole square head and squish it all down into a chunk. It makes it molten into a form. But where the clamp is, if they're not watching their tolerances, which apparently they're not, in either one of these companies, it should not expand more than 3 thou, because you're supposed to have 5 thou clearance. Well, it was binding. It had like a roll. You know, you could feel it once I got my bare hands on it, knew where to look and seen where the permanent marker was rubbed off. It had a circle all the way around. Well, I started feeling on that with my hands, and I'm a master technician and a master craftsman. Like, oh yeah, there's like 3 or 4 thou wider. Grind it off. Watch what happens now. Watch this. Get the bushings lined up. You ready? See that? See that shit? Oh, and I'm gonna cut the head. This ain't even the bolt, but look, I can go all the way down to here and turn it. All it's gonna have to do is turn. I didn't go all the way up because the